7 News at 6, we're tracking storm damage all over the area. Wind and rain pummeling the upstate.
Developing now, strong gusts of wind tearing through areas of Spartanburg, leaving behind dramatic images.
New tonight, entire neighborhoods underwater as streams and rivers escape their banks.
And one station brought you the first look inside apartments ripped apart by the storms.
Live and local for Carolina's family. This is 7 News at 6.
Good evening. This is a live picture at what may be some of the heaviest damage in our area.
We're taking a closer look at Crown Point Apartments in Spartanburg in just a minute. But first on 7 News at 6, that severe damage around the upstate from all the wind and flooding rain is on our minds.
We've got team coverage tonight and a lot of it. Live crews standing by as people try to clean up that damage. But you see Malachi Rogers, he's got a lot to talk about tonight. Malachi.
All right, Gordon, and Amy, we've seen a very active day across the upstate in the mountains, and we were talking about this yesterday, that this is going to be one of those days that we're going to have a 1-2 punch. Storms were going to come in, and with that, we were going to see heavy rain, and that's what we've seen right now. The heaviest of the storm activity, those severe thunderstorms, those tornado or potential tornadoes that came through earlier, that's all pushed to the south, but we're still dealing with a shield of rain. A lot of rain across the upstate and western North Carolina still falling. Many pockets, including Spartanburg and Lawrence, Union and Gaffney, all seeing heavy rain right now. That also extends down towards Greenwood, Anderson, and into northeast Georgia. Just to give you an idea of how much rain we've seen, these pockets that you see in orange and dark red, those are areas that have seen more than 5 inches of rain today, and it touches every county in the upstate has seen at least one area, whether it's downtown Spartanburg, Gaffney, Union, Greenville, Clemson, Anderson, or Pickens, has seen at least one area with at least 5 inches of rain since midnight. We are expecting to see our flash flood watch continue through midnight tonight. So again, flooded roadways and areas that have seen swollen streams still can be dangerous and still can rise, because as we take a look at our next 12 hours, we keep rain in the forecast at least through 10 o'clock tonight in the upstate, and in western North Carolina, those rain chances are with us through the early part of the evening as well. We'll be talking about storm damage in many spots. Those strong gusty winds as high as 40 miles an hour in a few locations brought down trees and caused damage. We'll talk more about that and take a look at what you can expect as we get closer to the weekend coming up.
Malachi, thank you. We have a 7 News update right now on all of this. All employees are safe now thanks to rescue crews with the Berea Fire Department in Greenville County. You can see here they were busy as they were called to a company named Mosaic on Sulphur Springs Road, and dozens of people were stranded there. The county sent its high water vehicle to evacuate all those people, and they are safe.
Developing now, continuing to see dramatic and sometimes heartbreaking video out of Spartanburg County. Now this is one of the areas that appears to have had the worst damage. This is video showing 2 people literally holding the doors closed at the Ashley Furniture Home Store on West Blackstock Road in Spartanburg. Max Bordeaux sent us these pictures. You hear that? Debris actually flying into these glass windows while these men try to hold the door shut. Our team coverage continues near that area in Spartanburg. Our Scotty Kay standing by at the Crown Point Apartments. And Scotty, emergency management told me earlier that is ground zero.
Absolutely, Gordon. No surprise there. There is still a lot of damage done here. And of course, we had crews out here all day long working to clean this up. If you take a look over here, you can see someone tried covering the back window here where a limb from this fallen tree came through that back window. We just watched them as well as others taking items out of their cars. You know, of course, we don't like to think anyone would go into cars in situations like this, but some folks can't help doing that because they obviously can't get their cars out of this. This tree has been here. They're all over this apartment complex. They fell on roofs out here. I just spoke with a woman who just came home from work, saw the damage for the first time, said 2 of the 3 bedrooms in her apartment were totally destroyed. The roof was ripped off, items thrown everywhere. She and her father came out with 2 suitcases full of belongings. She's going to stay with her family tonight. She has young children. She says she's worried about what they're going to do. Luckily, she told me she did get renter's insurance last year after a similar tornado happened a couple of years ago here. She's been here for a few years and said she's very glad she did that. Obviously, she didn't know this was coming. You can see the extent of the damage. It's very, very remarkable out here. Take a look at this roof up here. You can see where they've gotten up there and put up tarps from where, of course, other trees have fallen. destroyed roofs. We talked with folks earlier who walked us through their damaged homes. Just a lot of devastation out here, a lot of families impacted. Of course, we're going to continue following this developing story. People are seeing the damage for the first time. Really sad stuff. So if you say your prayer, say a prayer for these folks out here. They've lost a lot, but luckily no one was seriously injured. In Spartanburg County, Scotty K, 7 News.
Scotty, thank you. And staying in Spartanburg County with our team coverage continuing right now, let's head to 7 News reporter Melanie Palmer. She's at a church that's been heavily damaged. Melanie.
Yeah, a truly shocking scene here. Before we get to the church, I have to show you guys this. These are 2 RVs that completely flipped upside down and smashed into each other. And believe it or not, these are not the only ones. If you follow me right down here, you can see the same exact thing happen with some other RVs, just showing you the strength and how powerful this storm system was. And earlier today, before they were able to clean it up, there was an RV in the middle of this road that looked like it was completely smashed down, just like with a soda can that you would just squish down. And we're going to go back over here to show you this church that you guys were talking about. I know it's getting a little dark out now, but you can see the roof, or the lack of roof, I should say, on this church over here. This is the Living Waters Church in Spartanburg. We talked with a pastor earlier today who said when he came back, he was just devastated. But fortunately, nobody was inside and nobody was injured. But for now, these business owners living on this street and the people around here, they're dealing with the cleanup, which a lot of them are trying to do before it gets too dark outside, which, as you can see around me, that's happening pretty quickly. There are still tree limbs blocking off roads, making it impossible for some homeowners to drive up to their homes, having to park and to walk. But of course, there's also down power lines, which you don't want to ever drive or walk over for safety reasons. And that's another thing they're dealing with, is power outages. A lot of people still without power, and crews are working on that now. And same goes for public works crews too here in Spartanburg County. They told me today is more about assessing the damage, going around the county, seeing what all they're dealing with, and tomorrow is when the work really starts. They told me that could last hours. It could also last days. Right now it's hard to tell, and that's why they're driving around trying to figure out what they're up against. Live in Spartanburg County, Melanie Palmer, 7 News.
Melanie, thank you. Remember, you can take 7 News and Storm Team 7 with you wherever you are when the weather strikes. You can get our app. And of course, we'll keep you updated throughout the day with the latest news and weather. Just head to the App Store, search WSPA 7 News or WSPA Weather. Well, it's more than just the wind causing all that damage today. We speak with a homeowner in Oconee County as she watched the waters continue to rise.
And 7 News, the first station to take you inside those apartments damaged by storms in Spartanburg. The devastation is heartbreaking. You'll hear from someone who lives inside.
Oconee County is reporting several inches of rain like so many other locations in the upstate. Avondale Road between Seneca and Walhalla was closed for hours because of flooding there. The county's emergency services is saying they always have trouble with this area when it rains. Listen to this homeowner who was watching that water approach her house.
My husband called, "Have you looked outside?" I said, I didn't. But I looked and I was like, oh my word. Yes, I'm nervous, scared, don't know what to do, you know.
Oconee County Fire Chief is saying that the Lake Becky Road, Crystal Lake Road and Bonner Road area are also experiencing flooding. Remember, if you see water on a road, do not drive through it. Turn around, don't drown, as they remind you.
Continuing the team coverage now, we'll go to Greenville County, where roads are closed, streams and rivers flowing out of their banks. In fact, 7 News' Ayla Ferrone standing by live in downtown Greenville, where the Reedy River Ayla is flowing out of its banks.
Yeah, Gordon, we're here right in downtown Greenville where the Reedy River has overflowed over the banks. And the craziest part is this isn't the only spot where this is happening. Earlier today, we were a little bit more upstream from here. If you saw those live hits where the river has actually washed out the underpass for the bike path. Then even further upstream, there's a couple of road closures that are happening because of the flooding and the overflow from the Reedy River. Now, this is a really good example of exactly the type of things that we can see on the roadways happen very quickly, and a very good reason why you shouldn't drive through something like this. I know we're on a sidewalk right now and not a road, but there are areas that are seeing water like this on the roadways. You can see it's murky, it's moving fast, it's unpredictable. You don't know how deep that is, so it's very important not to go into water like this. Now, the city of Greenville just putting out some numbers about the Reedy River. They say that at the Falls area, the water is 12.78 feet high, and they're also saying that the water is rushing downstream at 5,400 cubic feet per second. So, you know, you see with your eyes really how fast that water is moving, how deep it is, and there's some numbers to back that up for you. And really, it's a situation we've been seeing all across Greenville and really the upstate today, as the rain just really has not let up. It gets a little bit lighter like this, and then it downpours again. It kind of ebbs and flows, and without any real break in the downpour, you know, it's going to be quite some time before we see this water recede. So we'll continue to keep an eye on this for you. And the city also has put out some signs next to the river to let people know how quickly the water can rise and to stay safe. So if you're out there, just make sure that you're taking your own safety in consideration and always thinking about that and making sure that you're staying safe. For now, I'm reporting live in Greenville, Ayla Ferrone, 7 News.
All right, and we continue to track more rain across the upstate and western North Carolina right now, but there is a little bit of good news. We're starting to see a break in the rain in the high mountains of North Carolina. We'll tell you how soon that'll clear the area coming up in our forecast.
Continuing our coverage tonight of the severe weather, we have video to show you from the Gower neighborhood in Greenville. Take a look. You see the water rushing through the area and around the homes there. We're told a dog had to be rescued from one of these homes. You can see that the dog did make it out okay. Well, as we've been telling you, we're seeing that flooding across many parts of the upstate. We continue our team coverage right now in Anderson County. That's where 7 News reporter Asia Wilson is live. So what's the latest there, Asia?
Yeah, hey Amy, so we're still here at the Saluda River. I'm actually at a boat ramp. As you can see, we're here at the side of this particular boat ramp. We can't really go back to show you how deep it is, but as you can see, there are poles here just to show you how much the water is rising. I spoke with the fire chief here in West Pelzer, and he said that as the rain continues to fall, so will the water continue to rise here. Now, I'm going to show you this video right now on your screen. We actually were at the Anderson County EOC earlier today, following up on multiple reports. Several of the calls were reports of flooded roads off of River Street. Many cars had hydroplaned in that low-lying area. And also around 1 o'clock today, we were in the Williamston area. Williamston road crews told us that around 8 streets were blocked off at that particular time due to flooding. The county has also seen massive flooding at area parks like Mineral Springs in downtown Williamston, but I'm also told the most reports are coming from the North Anderson County area like Powdersville and Pelzer, like we're here in the Saluda River area. Again, Anderson County officials are saying that there is currently no threat to the folks who live here in the Saluda River area, but for people who do live here, just stay vigilant and make sure that you have a plan in place. We're live in Pelzer. Asia Wilson, 7 News.
True for all of us, Asia. Thank you. We're going to show you some more video here of just how strong these winds were when they blew through in Spartanburg today. And I want to show you this video. This is taken by Lacey Allen. This is South Blackstock Road. And watch the window here. Take it full if you can, guys. You can see the force of the wind outside the window. It almost looks like the rain coming down sideways. You can actually see things being picked up and carried by the wind in Lacey's video.
And we continue to track rain across the upstate and western North Carolina. That rain continues to pile up, producing heavy amounts of rainfall. And again, the flood concern continues across the upstate and western North Carolina. Not just in these areas, localized areas, but you think about the rivers, where many of our reporters have been near rivers and streams. A 12-mile creek over 2 feet above flood stage. These are above flood stage. The Reedy River, 3 feet above flood stage. Enoree River, Packlet River, Broad River, all around 1 to 2 feet above flood stage. And at this point, we are going to add more water to these rivers. So the flood stage, these rivers will continue to rise. And again, as I mentioned, it's because we have more rain heading our way. And of course, the water that's out there has to eventually drain into these rivers as well. So again, low-lying areas, streams, creeks that have a tendency to rise to collect water. Be very careful late tonight, early tomorrow morning, especially since the sun has gone down. Visibility is going to be very bad on a lot of those roads. Showers in Greenville, showers in Spartanburg and Gaffney, down towards Lawrence and Due West, Abbeville and Clemson. Asheville seeing some rain, same story in Lake Lure and Rutherfordton. But as I mentioned going into the break, we're starting to see a little bit of clearing closer to the Tennessee line. It has been a wet day across the upstate and the mountains, and this is what we were planning for. This is what we were prepping you for. 3 to 5 inches of rainfall across the board in the upstate and the mountains, over 5 inches, right at 5 inches in Spartanburg, about 4.5 in Greenville, a little under 4 inches of rainfall today in Anderson, Asheville and Greenwood, right around 3 inches of rain. And those are just at the recording stations. When you think of backyards, when you think of workspaces, when you think of schools, some areas saw higher amounts. 4, 5, even 6 inches of rain in many locations. And each and every one of these areas you see in orange, those are areas that have seen at least 4, possibly 5 or 6 inches of rain during the day today. So again, we have those flood concerns. We have those issues with us that'll stay with us through around midnight tonight in the upstate and western North Carolina. Low-lying areas, flood-prone areas, and areas that collect water, as we mentioned, are those areas you want to avoid and be very careful around throughout the day. Going into weather, we showed you the picture of the gusty winds. Well, these are some of the peak wind gusts that we saw today. 41-mile-an-hour wind gusts in Greenville, 37 in Anderson, 36 in Greenwood, Spartanburg, and Asheville, right around 23-mile-an-hour wind gusts. And those are outside of the winds that were with some of these storms that pushed over trees and knocked down power lines. As we take a live look right now over downtown Spartanburg, it is a wet evening. The roads are wet as you take a look north on Church Street, and we'll keep at least that chance of showers till around 10 o'clock tonight. So if you're heading out, keep the rain jackets and umbrellas with you, as we are staying in the upper 50s in the upstate and mid 50s for the mountains. But here comes the good news. The rain starts to clear out. We'll start to dry out by 10, 11 o'clock tonight. Overnight, partly to mostly clear skies in the upstate, but it comes with the price. We are going to see some much colder weather moving in. In fact, cold enough that in western North Carolina, our high peaks, our high mountains, early tomorrow morning, we may be dealing with some snow, because what's driving all of this rain and those traumatic thunderstorms that we saw today, warm air coming in, clashing with cold air. And as that cold air moves into the Carolinas, we'll see a big drop in our temperatures. So we'll go from temperatures that were in the 60s today to highs in the 40s in the upstate on Friday and Saturday. We're in the 50s on Sunday, so that looks like a nice looking day. And next week we're back to average temperatures. In the mountains, we'll clear out tonight as lows are expected in the 30s with highs tomorrow only around 40 degrees.
Thank you, Malachi. Still ahead at 6. 7 News was the first to take you inside the apartments damaged by the storms in Spartanburg.
Yeah, if you remember one thing, one piece of video, it'll be the video we show you inside that apartment when we come back. Continuing coverage now of that severe weather that's been moving through our area. Let's go back to the Crown Point Apartments in Spartanburg.
Yeah, 7 News was the first to bring you inside to look at the incredible damage there. Our Dan Bickford speaks to the man who lived in one of the apartments that was especially hard hit.
This is the inside of one of those apartments that was hit by the storm. Take a look. This is what it looks like from the inside when you're missing part of your roof. Hole in the wall, water dripping through. You can see this is a living room. of a gentleman's apartment, and we happen to have that gentleman here right now. His name is Calvin Alexander. Mr. Alexander, what was happening when the storm hit? What were you doing? What happened?
I was sitting in the back room watching TV, and I heard the lights blinking. I saw the lights blinking, so I said, "Oh, let me get up from here." So as soon as I got up, the wind came and blew my window out and blew the door off the hinges.
Let's take a walk here and show us. So this is the door right here that was blown off the hinges.
That was blown off the hinges, yeah. I was sitting right here on the couch. And I heard this wind. And I said, let me get up from here. It's like as soon as I got up, the window busted and the door was in the hallway.
Let's go to the bedroom right now. And this shows, I mean, this is an incredible view here too, and just shows how sometimes you can just be in the right place, because this is the master bedroom. That's the bed. And look where the headboard is. Cinder blocks fell from above.
They sure did. You know, and that piece just fell off too. That piece that was hanging right there.
Yeah, when we came through here earlier, that piece was hanging off.
Yeah, it was hanging. Yeah, it was hanging. We can't get into the bathroom. We can't get into the master bathroom because we got cinder blocks all in the hallway. So, you know. And I thank God that I'm still alive.
Well, this is just one example of the damage that was done around here. Jason's going back in here to take a look at the hole that is opened up in the roof. There are more than one unit like this, by the way, in this particular apartment complex with trees that are down. And you can imagine with that water pouring in.
Because they had us evacuate here because we had smells. We had smell of gas. Mm-hmm. So they had everybody evacuate, so.
So obviously they let everybody back in.
They ain't let nobody back in yet.
Well, I mean, at least into here to take a look around.
Yeah, well, I came back on my own. Because I wanted to see that anything else happened to the apartment.
Unbelievable.
Unreal.
Absolutely.
All right,
tremendous there, and the note to take away from this is we had so many storms, so much destruction, but very little personal damage of people because of the warning system, because people were able to know that it was coming. So again, a good reason to remember, have those alerts ready to go. We are going to see clearing skies overnight. Much colder temperatures will head our way on Friday and Saturday.
We will see you with much more coming up at 7. Make sure you join us.
Have a great night, everybody.